This episode is brought to you by 21 Kicks Journals, the journals you'll actually finish.
Research shows that actively doing something for 21 days in a row will change your brain.
Our uniquely designed 21-day journals will grow you on a deeper level, help you increase your odds of achieving your goals, and, not to mention, they're fun and beautifully designed.
Head to the 21 Kicks Etsy shop today to explore your journaling options. We'll link it in the show notes.
Welcome to the Witty and Gritty podcast, where we believe that lifelong learning and relentless determination are essential to developing your passions and reaching your goals. Here to help you along the way are the hosts of the show. Take it away, ladies.
Hey y'all, I'm Brooke.
And I'm Farron.
As educators and high achievers, we're passionate about providing our listeners with effective strategies to help navigate life's obstacles and reach your goals sooner.
Join us as we break down credible research that gives you a fresh perspective and challenges your limiting beliefs.
Laugh and grow as we share personal anecdotes and interviews from people that have demonstrated what it takes to be successful.
By implementing these practices, you will develop your unique skill set and learn how to better serve your community.
Get your mind right.
And enjoy this time designed just for you.
This is episode 124 of our mini-series, 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do, focusing on chapter 13, the last chapter of the book. Farron, we did it!
Yes, y'all made it. Some of these chapters were quite the gut punch, but you made it.
My guts hurt.
One more chapter to go, and I think it's not too deep of a cut, but still something we all struggle with.
True.
It says that mentally tough people do not expect immediate results.
Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. Like Napoleon Hill.
Like sweat?
Yeah, as I was reading that, I was like, wait. But maybe, like how some preachers, like, all my points have to start with the same letter. Or maybe Napoleon needed, like, the 3 P's to but he really just means hard work.
Yeah.
So, not expecting immediate results. That's the theme of this chapter, and we're going to dive right in.
Yes, with everybody's favorite P word, patience.
It's not my favorite.
Patience is a virtue, everybody.
After Hours episode.
I'm just going to keep talking over you. So if this resonates with you, you might be struggling with some patience. You don't believe good things come to those who wait.
You think of time as money, and you don't want to risk wasting a single second. I think that one was written for me. Oops.
You want things done now. Me.
You yelled it.
I'm yelling at myself.
Listen, self. You tend to underestimate how long it'll take to reach your goals or accomplish something. Oh!
You give up when you aren't seeing results fast enough.
Man. So, again, this is a normal thing. A lot of people want immediate results, but why do we want those things?
Yes, you might be wondering that. Well, it turns out mentally strong people recognize that a quick fix isn't always the best solution.
That's true. There are no shortcuts to success.
Is that another Paul quote?
Possible. Maybe it's a Farronism.
Maybe it's from the Bible? I don't know. We're putting all these people on the same platform. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Oh, man.
So our fast-paced world discourages us from waiting, and stories often float around about overnight successes.
Yes, but there is no overnight success. It's all the years that they were trial and error, pushing through failure. We've seen it. We know this. We know this to be true, but still sometimes it stings when they're like, man, they came out of nowhere. Why can't I do that too?
Yeah, I've been told, well, you just don't understand because you have good kids. And it's like, okay, my kids, they are good. They're good. Could be better. We could all be better.
Sure.
There's others that, we're doing good. But I'm like, you have no idea the daily battles and struggles that it takes to produce this. Like,
yes,
they
lots
weren't
of front loading.
born this way. Oh, anywho, okay. So why do we expect immediate results? Again, we lack patience. But this one was interesting. We overestimate our abilities.
Yes, like, I can get that done today. And you're like, wait, nope, I can't.
In fact, I do that every day. So we're starting out like, let's see if we can do one thing today. And then when I can do one, now we're going to try for 2.
Yes.
So we're building. We're building.
And that goes hand in hand with we underestimate how long things can take, especially change. Like, wait, why am I not fit yet?
Yes.
Why haven't I lost the weight yet? Why am I still not patient yet?
Why is my closet still not organized?
No. So there are some problems with expecting immediate results, as you may know.
You may be tempted to take shortcuts.
And there's some things that sure you could take shortcuts on. Enneagram 3s, that's your vibe. But there are some things you should not be taking shortcuts on. So there's that.
Yes, because they could have dangerous consequences.
That's true.
It's like when people say, let's take this shortcut through the dark woods.
Does it ever work out?
It
No.
Never does. Or in the horror movies when they start running back towards the killer. Come on, people. Let's get it together.
Don't run upstairs. Run out your front door.
Yeah, or drive away instead of running away.
Man. All right. You won't be prepared for the future. Ooh.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes going through those trials prepares you for later trials down the road.
Yeah.
So, grow with it.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have unrealistic expectations that can cause you to draw the wrong conclusions. So if you think you're going to get immediate results and then you don't, like, oh, well then I guess this idea is just not going to be good. When really, it's going to take time, and then it'll be good.
Yeah, and I feel like having a lack of patience always leads to negative and uncomfortable emotions. Mm-hmm. I'm not good enough. This isn't working. This was a stupid idea. It's never going to happen. So let's avoid those.
And that can cause self-sabotage as well. So all of these things that Amy is pointing out, it ties together on how we need to become mentally strong and not necessarily expect immediate results every time we do something.
So then she goes into how are we going to commit to the long haul?
Right.
How are we going to stick with it, especially when we don't feel like doing it anymore? Mm-hmm. So phase 1, create realistic expectations. So like you were talking about earlier, overestimating our abilities, that's one way to step back and say, wait, am I really not making progress because I can't do it, or were my expectations unrealistic?
Yeah, and sometimes it helps to build in wiggle room. Like if you know you're working from home, build in the wiggle room of your kids are there or something's going to happen. So yeah, maybe if you're uninterrupted, you could get it done in 5 hours, but with interruption, it's going to take you 8. So just little things to think about that I've learned over the time.
Yeah, or 48 hours. Who knows?
Right.
So goal setting is key. I was not joking earlier when I was like, okay, I was being a little sarcastic with myself. Can you get one thing accomplished today? Yes, I can. And prove it. And then 2 days. And so I'm not saying you have to start at the very, very beginning or bottom, but check in with your goal setting. That's another great thing to talk to somebody who's in your realm or ahead of you, is how they set their goals, and maybe you can say, here's my goals. Are these realistic?
Yeah.
If not, help me.
It also helps to avoid placing a definite time limit on reaching your goal. Again, you got to build in that wiggle room. Maybe you have something that you didn't or you're waiting on someone to do something. Like I can't necessarily code a website. I'm going to have to wait on someone to code it, then I can learn how to operate it. I have to wait on the other party. So sometimes you're delayed for a reason not cause of your own, but it happens.
Mm-hmm. I like this one. Takes me back to the Atomic Habit series. It says, recognize that progress isn't always obvious.
Yes.
So he gives the ice cube example. I've used it before, but I'm sure you don't remember, so let me tell you again. Mostly I just want a reason to tell you again. I'm sure you do remember. But like an ice cube, if the temperature goes from 0 degrees to 1 to 2 to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30, the temperature has jumped a lot of degrees, but that ice cube is still going to remain frozen. It's not going to be until 32.1 degrees
there you go.
that you might start to see some progress. So you can be making progress even if it's not always obvious, which is another reason to have a good community around you that can speak life into you. If you're like, I just haven't got anything accomplished, and they can be like, do you remember when you started, or remind you to look back at how far you've come.
Right.
If you can't see it yourself.
And she talks about considering how you're going to measure progress by asking these questions. How will I know if what I'm doing is working? What's a realistic time frame to see initial results? What kind of results can I realistically expect to see within 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year? How will I know that I'm staying on track toward my goal? These are all just really good business questions, but this can go for every aspect of life as well.
I noticed the word realistic is coming up over.
Quite a bit.
And over again. Practicing delaying gratification is also a good strategy. Mm-hmm. This is how I developed patience in my youngest. So, who was the men's coach at Austin College? Mark. Yeah. So he had a golden retriever, and if he had to go into the office, the dog would just sit outside the, what would you call that? Where was that? I don't know.
Like the
coach's
foyer?
office. Yeah. Mm. They'd sit outside the building in the shade with water. Dog was fine, everybody. But if someone walked by, he wouldn't move. And if Mark was there an hour, the dog would still be just laying there sitting. Mm-hmm. And I was like asking him about it, and he was like, well, you just leave for like a little bit at a time, and then longer at a time. And so I've done that with my third child. She will wait patiently in her room for me to come read her books, or for me to come play a game with her in the living room. And sometimes I do forget. Mostly the games in the living room, because I'm like, this will take me 5 more minutes to wrap up. But she will wait a very long time before calling me, because I would start with like 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes before I go, do whatever. And so she does believe I'm coming, even if a lot of time has passed. So
yeah, that's really good.
Practicing delaying that gratification on yourself has also got to be a great technique.
And here's some ways you can do that. Keep your eyes on the prize, remembering your why. Celebrate the milestones along your journey. I know we talked about that in our Dream Big mini-series. That's episodes 92 through 100. Create a plan to resist temptation. Like, when you want to give up, this isn't working. Okay. And then deal with feelings of frustration and impatience in a healthy manner. So not just throwing in the towel or being pouty. And then there's also the tip of pacing yourself. So this is another Paul quote. Season is a marathon, not a sprint. So he would always talk to us about soccer season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you're not going to overdo it or pull your muscles or anything like that. You need to pace yourself in a little bit at a time. Otherwise, you're going to risk burnout.
Mm-hmm. And that, I feel like, is life for a lot of people, especially this season of COVID and just all the changes we've been through and trying to juggle possibly more things from home than we're used to.
Right.
Okay, so delaying gratification makes us stronger.
Sure does.
Turns out self-discipline is more important than IQ when it comes to predicting academic success. And there are a ton of people who have been identified with dyslexia that have gone on to achieve many great things. And I always think of it, I haven't thought of the most poetic way to say it, but like learning how to overcome struggle, like in school at a younger age, helps so much when you get into the real world, because overcoming struggle almost becomes second nature because you've done it your whole life.
Right.
Whereas kids that are in school, and that's their gifting, they can study and pick up on material quickly, and they haven't ever really struggled, and they hit that for the first time. That can be a big setback. Now as an adult, they're trying to learn on how to overcome obstacles. So not to say like, aren't you glad you struggle?
Right.
But you have a choice.
Leverage it.
Yeah, you have a choice to look at it in a positive light or a negative light. But yeah, so if you are younger and struggling with something, it really is. It's going to give you strength in the long run.
Yeah, and that self-discipline ties in with self-control, which, research-based, it is proven to boost your self-esteem. Because if you can keep that patience or keep sticking with whatever it is, that's going to give you the confidence. And man, wow, I've made it this far and keep going, which boosts your self-esteem. So all of those things tie in together, and that's all because you're just trying to help yourself with learning to love or work on delaying gratification.
And if you can teach your children self-control, she says that high self-control in children leads to fewer mental health problems, substance abuse, criminal convictions, and greater financial security.
Yeah, why would you not want to set your kids or yourself up for success like that?
Yeah, I'm really glad my girls like to save their money, because they weren't always like that. You know, they burnt a hole in their pocket. You know, they have it. They want to spend it on things they already have and all that. So, anyways, that's all the mamas out there, all the families and parents. The things that this book is teaching you, I think it would be a disservice to not pass it on to your children
For sure.
as well.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Okay, again, she closes every chapter with what is helpful and what is not helpful. So again, mentally strong people don't expect immediate results. And something that is helpful is creating realistic expectations about how long it's going to take to reach your goal and how difficult it's going to be. A lot of times we might jump in thinking, oh, okay, I got this, no problem. And then, oh no, we hit a wall, or it's taking longer than we thought. And then it's all mindset from there. You got to push through it.
Yes, so what's not helpful is allowing your frustration and impatience to affect your behavior. So the flip side of that, and I feel like I can attest to this in the season, is finding accurate ways to measure your progress.
Yeah.
I think a lot of mine currently, frustration and impatience with myself, or all the interruptions because it turns out I have kids and I'm their mom.
Turns out.
Comes from like not having an accurate goal setting and what I can accomplish and how long it's going to take, which then makes my progress measures look terrible. So I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. Just
some tweaks.
Reset. Yep.
Yeah. So that concludes the 13 things mentally strong people don't do. And this whole book is about making progress. At the very end of the book, you know me, I love reading the very beginning and the very end. So there's a conclusion. Farron's like, I didn't read that. There is the maintaining mental strength. And she elaborates a little bit, but she gives you 3 points to kind of stick with. So the first one is monitor your behavior, and then regulate your emotions, and then think about your thoughts. So again, we highly encourage you to grab this book, read it cover to cover, Farron, and take notes. Take notes in your journal, take notes on the book, do what you got to do, because this book is too good to not get your hands on.
Yes, I am not one who loves to read extra than I have to, although if it's audiobook, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, taking notes that way when you're like, man, I remembered there was lots of good stuff in this book, but what was it? It's much faster to go through notes than it is to reread a whole book. But that's just me, just me. But in the conclusion, one of the headings, because I can read that, says coach yourself.
Yes.
So say what you would probably say to other people. Don't forget to say that to yourself too.
Yeah,
because
for
you know
sure.
it's true.
Okay, you guys, make sure you stick around for the next episodes because we're going to hit you with some really great interviews we are very excited about.
Yeah, you're going to hear people that are living out these practices, and we can't wait for you to hear their stories.
We help hardworking Christian women get the growth they want by giving them the tools they need in order to have more joyful lives.
We love providing our Christian-based personal growth podcast to our listeners at no cost. If you are enjoying the content, please consider supporting our mission by donating to our Patreon.
We're a small team creating the show for our community by researching, recording, and producing the episodes ourselves. Any amount is greatly appreciated. Your support will help offset the cost of making and hosting the show.
As a thank you, you can receive exclusive access.
For more details on specific membership tiers, visit our Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/witty and gritty. We've included the link in the show notes.